Hi, I am Sophia. Welcome to True Payback, where story hits different. Hit subscribe. Let's dive in.
The courthouse was silent except for the sound of my sister's phone vibrating against the plaintiff's table. She glanced at it, frowned, then put it face down. Her attorney continued shuffling papers, preparing for the next round of testimony. I sat perfectly still, my hands folded on the defendant's table, watching the smallest crack appear in my sister Elena's confident facade. This lawsuit had been brewing for 18 months. Elena claimed I'd stolen her business idea for a data analytics platform. The truth? I'd built my software 3 years before she even started her company. But Elena had always been the golden child, the one who could rewrite history with a smile, and our parents had funded her legal crusade without question. Your Honor, Elena's attorney stood, straightening his expensive tie. My client has suffered immense emotional and financial damages due to the defendant's theft of intellectual property. Ms. Martinez has built a thriving tech company, Martinez Tech Solutions, which has been undermined by her own sister's betrayal. I didn't react. I'd learned long ago that showing emotion around Elena was like bleeding in shark-infested waters. The judge nodded. We'll hear from the plaintiff directly. Ms. Martinez, please take the stand. Elena stood, smoothing her designer suit. She'd always known how to dress for an audience. As she walked past my table, she leaned down slightly, her voice a whisper meant only for me. You should have just given me the code when I asked nicely. Now you're going to lose everything. I smiled politely. We'll see. Growing up, I was always the difficult one. Elena was 2 years older, effortlessly charming, naturally gifted at making people like her. I was quiet, analytical, more interested in computers than parties. Our parents, both successful in real estate, couldn't understand why I preferred coding to their vision of success. Why can't you be more like your sister? Became the family motto. When Elena got into Stanford, there was a party. When I got into MIT, my mother said, "That's nice, dear," and went back to planning Elena's graduation celebration. The pattern continued through our 20s. Elena's marketing job at a mid-tier firm was treated like a Fortune 500 executive position. My actual Fortune 500 software engineering job was cute and technical, but not real business. I stopped trying to compete for their attention around age 25. Instead, I focused on what I loved: building things. Beautiful, complex systems that solved real problems. Code was honest. It either worked or it didn't. There was no favoritism in algorithms. At 27, I built DataStream Analytics, a platform that could process massive datasets in real time, identifying patterns that traditional systems missed. It was elegant, powerful, and completely mine. I didn't tell my family about it. Why would I? They'd never shown interest in my work before. I filed the patents quietly. Launched a small consulting business. My clients were Fortune 500 companies who paid extremely well for custom solutions. Within 2 years, I was pulling in high 6 figures annually. Within 4 years, I'd cleared my first million in profit. My family still thought I was a computer person making decent money. Then I met Sarah. Sarah Chin walked into my life at a tech conference in San Francisco. She was giving a keynote on venture capital trends in emerging technologies. Brilliant, confident, with this way of breaking down complex financial strategies that made them sound like poetry. We talked for 6 hours straight after her presentation. About technology, about building things that mattered, about the pressure of family expectations. Her parents had wanted her to be a doctor. She'd become a venture capitalist instead, now managing a $400 million fund. They still introduce me as our daughter who works in finance, she laughed. Like I'm a bank teller. My family thinks I fix computers, I replied. He understood. God, she understood everything. We were inseparable after that. 6 months later, she proposed to me on the roof of her apartment building, the San Francisco skyline glittering behind her. I don't want to waste time, she said. I know what I want. Do you? I said yes before she finished the question. We got married 3 months later. Small ceremony, 20 people, mostly our close friends and business partners. Sarah's parents were there, supportive despite their initial reservations. My parents received an invitation. They never opened it. I found out later that Elena had intercepted the mail, thrown it away, and told our parents I was going through a phase, and they shouldn't encourage my lifestyle choices. Never mind that I'd been out since college. Never mind that they'd met my previous girlfriends. Elena had decided this wedding didn't fit her narrative of my life, so it simply didn't exist in the family story. Sarah wanted to confront them. I stopped her. They've shown me who they are, I said quietly. I believe them. Instead, we built our own life. Sarah's venture capital firm, Chin Capital Partners, was thriving. My consulting business was expanding. We bought a beautiful home in Pacific Heights, traveled frequently, invested in startups we believed in. We were happy. Genuinely, peacefully happy. And my family knew none of it. 2 years into our marriage, Elena called me for the first time in months. I need your help, she said, her voice unusually warm. I'm starting a tech company. Data analytics. I know that's your thing. Could you look at my business plan? Warning bells went off immediately. Elena had never shown interest in technology. He barely knew how to use Excel. But I was trying, however foolishly, to maintain some connection to my family. Send it over, I said. The business plan arrived that evening. I read through it and felt my blood run cold. It wasn't just similar to my DataStream platform. Entire sections were copied verbatim from my patent applications, which were public record. She'd changed some terminology, rearranged some features, but the core architecture was unmistakably mine. I called her. Elena, this is my system. You can't just copy my patents. Patents? She laughed. You have patents? For what? Fixing mom's laptop. I've had patents for 5 years. DataStream analytics. It's all registered. Silence. Then, you're lying. You don't have the money or expertise for something like that. I absolutely do. Prove it. I sent her the patent numbers, the incorporation documents, the client list, redacted but impressive. She didn't respond for 3 days. When she finally called back, her voice was different. You stole my idea. Elena, I filed these patents 3 years before you even mentioned starting a company. You must have hacked my computer. Read my journals. This was my idea, and you stole it because you're jealous that I'm actually successful. The gaslighting was Olympic level. I'm not doing this, I said. Use a different system. There are other platforms. I've already told investors about this technology. I've already raised money. Then you have a problem. She hung up. What Elena didn't know. One of her investors was Chin Capital Partners, Sarah's firm. Sarah had met Elena at a tech mixer 6 months earlier, before Elena even knew Sarah and I were together. Elena had pitched her startup idea, which was vague and half-formed at the time, and Sarah had been intrigued by the market opportunity, not the technology. There's a woman, Elena Martinez, who came to our last pitch session, Sarah mentioned one evening. Martinez, any relation? My sister. Sarah's eyes widened. The one who throws away your mail? That's her. She wants $3 million in seed funding. I thought about it. What does your team think? Promising market, weak execution plan, no technical expertise. Sarah paused. But if she had the right technology partner. She's using my patents without permission. Sarah's expression shifted instantly. Absolutely not. We're out. But I stopped her. An idea was forming. A terrible, perfect idea. What if you invested? I said slowly. But with conditions. She has to use licensed technology. She has to hire a technical team you approve. She has to meet specific milestones. You want to watch her. I want to protect my work. And I want to see if she can actually build something without stealing from me. Sarah considered it. We'd structure it as a strategic investment. $5.4 million over 2 years, tied to performance metrics. We'd have board oversight. Would she know about us? Not unless she asks very specific questions about Chin Capital's managing partners' personal lives. Sarah smiled. Which, knowing venture capital, she won't. Elena jumped at the offer. $5.4 million from a prestigious VC firm? It validated everything she told our parents about her brilliant business mind. For 18 months it worked. Elena hired a legitimate development team. They built a different analytics platform, inferior to mine but functional. Martinez Tech Solutions actually started generating revenue. Our parents were thrilled. Finally, a daughter making us proud in business. Mom said at a family dinner I wasn't invited to but heard about through cousins. Then Elena got greedy. Her company was growing but not fast enough. Investors wanted faster returns. Elena, being Elena, decided the problem wasn't her leadership or market strategy. The problem was me. I've discovered that my sister stole my original business concept, she announced at a family gathering. She's been running a competing platform this whole time, using my ideas. I'm going to sue her for everything. Mom and Dad immediately pledged their support. Financially, emotionally, completely. My cousin texted me, "You need to come to Sunday dinner. Elena's telling everyone you're a corporate spy." I didn't go. I called my attorney instead. The lawsuit alleged that I had stolen trade secrets from Elena's company, despite my patents being filed years earlier. It claimed emotional damages, lost revenue, intellectual property theft. It was a masterpiece of fiction. Elena's attorney was expensive, aggressive, and clearly being paid very well to ignore the timeline problems with her claims. My attorney was better. "This is frivolous," Michael said, reviewing the filing. "Your patents predate her company by 3 years. Her own pitch materials reference industry-standard solutions, not proprietary technology. This will be dismissed." "She's not trying to win," I said. "She's trying to destroy my reputation." Then we counterclaim. Abusive process. Defamation. We can. No. I thought about Sarah, about our quiet life, about the peace we'd built. We defend. We present facts. We let her dig her own grave. Michael looked skeptical but agreed. The case dragged on for months. Depositions, document requests, expert witnesses. Elena gave interviews to tech blogs about sister betrayal and corporate espionage. She painted herself as the victim of family jealousy. Our parents believed every word. My mother called once. "How could you do this to your sister? After everything we've given you?" "You didn't give me anything, Mom. I built my own career. You stole Elena's future." I hung up. Sarah held me that night while I cried for the first time in months. "We can end this," she said. "One phone call. I pull the funding, her company collapses, lawsuit dies." "Not yet," I said. "I want her to know. In court. Publicly. I want her to understand exactly what she's done." Which brought us to today. The courtroom. The testimony. Elena on the stand, radiant with confidence, telling the judge about her revolutionary technology that her jealous sister had copied. "My sister has always been envious," Elena said, her voice trembling with practiced emotion. "When I finally succeeded in building something real, something valuable, she couldn't stand it. She had to tear me down." The judge looked unmoved. "Ms. Martinez, the defendant's patents predate your company by 36 months. How do you explain that?" Elena didn't miss a beat. "She must have stolen my early research. My journals, my notes. She had access to my apartment years ago." It was such an absurd claim that even her attorney looked uncomfortable. "Do you have evidence of this theft?" the judge asked. "She's my sister. She knows how to cover her tracks." My attorney stood. "Your Honor, we have phone records, emails, and witness testimony proving the defendant had no contact with Ms. Martinez during the relevant time period. The plaintiff's own corporate documents show she didn't conceive of this business until 2019. The defendant's patents were filed in 2016. Elena's facade cracked slightly. She glanced at her attorney, who whispered something urgently. Then she played her trump card. "Your Honor, regardless of the timeline, the emotional damage is real. My sister has actively undermined my company, my reputation, my relationships. She's been jealous of me our entire lives because she's..." Elena paused for effect. "She's difficult. She's unlikable. No one would ever marry her. She's too abrasive, too cold. She can't maintain relationships, so she destroys mine instead." The courtroom went silent. I sat at the defendant's table watching my sister perform. This was her specialty, making herself the victim, making me the villain, rewriting reality until everyone believed her version. Our parents sat in the gallery behind her, nodding along. I pulled out my phone. "Interesting," I said quietly. My fingers moved across the screen. The message to Sarah was simple. "Cease all investments in Martinez Tech Solutions effective today." I hit send. Elena's phone started ringing immediately. Elena glanced at her phone, frowning. Then it rang again. And again. "Your Honor," her attorney said, "may my client check her phone? It appears to be urgent." The judge nodded reluctantly. Elena picked up her phone. Her face went white as she read the screen. Then red. Then white again. I need a recess, she said suddenly. Ms. Martinez, you're in the middle of testimony. I need a recess. Elena's voice cracked. She looked at her attorney. They're pulling out. Chin Capital is pulling out. All of it. $5.4 million. They're calling the loan. We have 30 days to repay or they take the company. Her attorney grabbed the phone, read the message, and his expression matched hers. The judge looked annoyed. Who is Chin Capital? Our primary investor, Elena whispered. Without them we're finished. I remained perfectly still. The judge sighed. We'll take a 15-minute recess. Ms. Martinez, compose yourself. Elena stumbled out of the courtroom, her attorney and our parents following. I could hear Mom's voice in the hallway. What's happening? Can they do this? My attorney leaned over. Did you just... I have no idea what you're talking about, I said calmly. Michael smiled. When we reconvened, Elena was barely holding it together. Her makeup was smudged, her hands shaking. Your Honor, her attorney said, we'd like to request a continuance. My client is experiencing a business emergency that... Denied, the judge said flatly. Ms. Martinez, please return to the stand. You may step down after we complete this line of questioning. Elena sat down slowly, her eyes finding mine across the courtroom. For the first time in our lives, I saw real fear in her expression. My attorney stood. Ms. Martinez, you mentioned that your company received significant venture capital funding. Can you tell the court about your primary investor? I don't see how that's relevant. Please answer the question. Elena swallowed. Chin Capital Partners. They invested $5.4 million. And when did they make this investment? 2 years ago. Initial funding with follow-up rounds. What were the terms of this investment? I don't remember all the details. My attorney pulled out a document. According to the investment agreement, Chin Capital maintained board oversight and required that Martinez Tech Solutions use only properly licensed technology. Is that correct? Yes. And did Chin Capital ever express concerns about your technology sourcing? Elena's attorney objected. Relevance, Your Honor. I'll allow it, the judge said. Answer the question, Ms. Martinez. They asked for verification that all our technology was proprietary or properly licensed. And what did you tell them? That it was all original work. My attorney nodded. But it wasn't, was it? You based your entire platform on your sister's patented technology. No. You just testified under oath that you conceived this technology first and your sister stole it. But the patents prove otherwise. Which means you lied to your investors about your technology being original. Is that correct? Elena looked trapped. If she admitted the technology wasn't original, she confessed to investor fraud. If she maintained her lawsuit claims, she contradicted the timeline. It's complicated. Ms. Martinez, did you or did you not falsely represent to Chin Capital Partners that your technology was original and proprietary? I believed it was. My sister must have. The patents are dated 2016. Your company was founded in 2019. There is no must-have. There are only facts. Elena started crying. Real tears this time, not performed ones. The judge had seen enough. I'm dismissing this case. The plaintiff's claims are not supported by the evidence, and there appear to be serious questions about the legitimacy of the underlying business practices. Ms. Martinez, I strongly suggest you consult with an attorney about your investor agreements. The gavel came down. Elena ran from the courtroom. My parents followed Elena out, not even glancing in my direction. I gathered my things slowly, methodically. Michael shook my hand. I'm honestly not sure what that was, but congratulations. Thank you. The countersuit for legal fees will be straightforward. Though I suspect Martinez Tech Solutions won't have the assets to pay. Let it go, I said. I got what I needed. I walked out of the courthouse into bright afternoon sunshine. My phone buzzed with a text from Sarah. How did it go? I'll tell you over dinner. Thank you for the timing. Always. Love you. Love you too. I drove home to Pacific Heights, to the life we'd built together. Sarah was waiting on the front steps, 2 glasses of wine already poured. Your sister called me 14 times, she said, handing me a glass. I can imagine. She didn't know. All this time she had no idea we were married. No. Sarah shook her head in disbelief. She sued you, dragged you through court, destroyed your relationship with your family, all while I was funding her company. How did she not do basic research on her investors? Because Elena only sees what she wants to see. I was the family failure. You were the prestigious VC. Those two facts couldn't coexist in her worldview. What happens now? I sipped my wine, watching the sunset paint the San Francisco skyline in shades of gold and amber. Now she has 30 days to repay $5.4 million or surrender the company to Chin Capital Partners. She'll try to find new investors, but with a dismissed lawsuit for IP theft and questions about her business practices, that's unlikely. The company will fold. Probably. And your family? I thought about my parents in the courtroom, their automatic support of Elena, their complete inability to see me clearly. They made their choice a long time ago. I'm just accepting it. Sarah took my hand. For what it's worth, I'm proud of you. You could have destroyed her months ago. You gave her every chance to do the right thing. She chose not to take it. That's on her, not you. We sat in comfortable silence, watching the city lights begin to twinkle. My phone buzzed again, a number I didn't recognize. The voicemail was from Elena. You're married to her? To Sarah Chin? That's how you. Her voice broke. You let me walk right into this. You watched me take her money, build my company on it, sue you, and you never said a word. You knew she'd pull the funding. You knew I'd lose everything. A long pause. Mom and Dad are furious. They want to know why you didn't tell us. Why you've been living this secret life. They think you did this on purpose to hurt me. Another pause. Crying now. Did you do this to hurt me? The message ended. I deleted it without responding. Martinez Tech Solutions declared bankruptcy 4 months after the trial. Elena tried desperately to find new funding, but the combination of the lawsuit, the investor fraud questions, and the revelation that her technology was based on stolen patents made her untouchable in the tech world. Chin Capital Partners acquired the company's assets for pennies on the dollar, then quietly licensed my datastream platform to the existing client base. It was good business. My parents sent one email. We don't understand why you had to destroy your sister's dreams. We raised you better than this. I didn't reply. There was nothing to say to people who still couldn't see the truth when it was documented in court records. My cousins reached out, though. The ones who'd always suspected something was off about the family dynamics. We read the court transcripts. One texted. Holy shit. We had no idea you'd built all that. I don't advertise, I replied. Can we get coffee sometime? Without the parents. I'd like that. Sarah and I celebrated our 3rd anniversary in Tokyo. We video called her parents from our hotel room, showing them the cherry blossoms in Ueno Park. They asked about my work, about our plans, about whether we'd thought about kids. Normal family questions. Loving questions. Your mom asked if we'd visit for Mid-Autumn Festival, Sarah said after we hung up. What did you say? That we'd love to. I leaned against her shoulder, watching the Tokyo skyline through our window. You know what's strange? I don't miss them. My parents, Elena. I thought I would, but I don't. You miss the family you wanted them to be, Sarah said softly. Not the family they are. Yeah. We'll build our own. We already are. And we were. Business partners who'd become friends. Sarah's family who welcomed me completely. The life we'd created together, built on honesty and mutual respect. Elena was right about one thing. I had been difficult. Difficult to manipulate. Difficult to dismiss. Difficult to erase. And I'd married someone who loved me for exactly that. My phone buzzed one last time that evening. An unknown number. I almost didn't check it, but curiosity won. It was Elena. I found out today that Sarah's firm is licensing your platform to my old clients. You're making money off my failure. Off the company I built. I typed back, my fingers steady. You built it with stolen technology and my wife's money. The fact that we're salvaging something useful from your fraud doesn't make us the villains in this story. That was always you. Then I blocked the number. Sarah looked at me. Everything okay? Yeah, I said, setting my phone down. Everything's perfect. And for the first time in my entire life, it was. The family that couldn't see my worth had lost access to my life. The sister who'd tried to steal my success had lost everything she'd built on lies. And I had built something real, something beautiful, something honest. I'd built it without them. And I'd never been happier.